Welcome to a bonus video on the channel. Artemix in the community funded a vacuum tube shotgun showcase, and honestly, it's a great suggestion. He wanted me to do the revolver, but I told him that weapon is bad. I tried it recently. I promise it's not worth it. And he said, how about the shotgun? I said, that weapon's great. So here we are. This video is going to have two sections. This one's going to be crit rating crit damage, and then we're going to do double crit damage with a very basic shotgun loadout. Raptor in the lead, honestly, just because crit damage is awesome. Toy rocking out because it's amazing. Battle beat and fumble just to activate it regularly. I'm going to have my shotgun loadout video linked down below if you guys want to learn everything about shotgun builds. I'm just going to go quick here. Shell Shock for Shrapnel Headhunter, Locked and Reloaded just because it's really good. And normally I would use Chaos Agent, but we're going to be running a reload perk on this and we don't really need the help. So we have a few options. I sometimes like to run Wukong just because he adds some extra area of effect damage to those explosions. You can also run Rex Jonesy. Both are pretty viable picks. At this point, there aren't too many options. Light Show Spitfire for some extra mag size can go a long way, but I like the extra explosions even if they're not a ridiculous amount of damage with Wukong. So that's who I'm going to be going for today. But again, that video link down below will give you a lot more information. So super quick intro. It's a basic weapon, awesome loadout. Let's have some fun. Whoa, we're doing voiced over for this one. It's a new format for the Fun 160s. So, to start any defense, you want to put down some traps. Obviously, I'm showcasing a weapon and I want to show how strong it is, but activating Battle Beat and defending the actual objective is important. In a 164 player, no matter how stacked your friends are, you do actually want to have some traps down. So we're just doing basics in electric fields. These are nature, of course, because we're in a water zone and we want them to do 25% more damage. And tar pits at the front just to stop smashers from going through. And lastly, we have the floor freeze just so that when enemies are frozen, they will, freeze and take more damage. And it's directional. So I face the objective when I place these, and then that way they will stagger towards my back, and it'll be a lot more effective. Now, something that's immediately apparent is that the vacuum tube shotgun has chain lightning, and that will target up to 6 different times. Not 6 different enemies, 6 different times. Meaning if there aren't 6 enemies nearby, it'll go back and forth between 2 different targets and make sure that you are getting the most damage possible out of that chain lightning. That has been changed a lot since it's been added to the game, and it is extremely effective. In fact, I knew this weapon would be good, but in the live recording of this, I was just shocked at how extremely effective this weapon was. It was deleting entire hordes of enemies. Now, of course, I have totally rocking out in a very strong loadout, but I'm an endgame player and a 164 player. I'm not going to hold that against this weapon at all. I have seen how strong the best shotguns in the game are, and this is well up there. This is an S tier weapon for sure. Now, it is nature only, meaning you are going to want to use this in a water zone or a nature zone. It'll be doing 25% of its total damage in a fire zone and 67% in a nature zone. That's suboptimal to energy, which is 75%, but it's still very, very good, and as you can see, it's amazing. Now, the vacuum tube shotgun in the fine print of the description actually has a unique situation where it stuns targets, meaning when you are targeting a big enemy like a mist monster, a zappy face, or a smasher, getting a bit ahead of myself here, it can stun them in place. So not only are you doing tons of damage and crowd clearing, but you are also staggering big targets in place and stunning them instead of making them go forward. That is really, really good. You're stopping big targets, doing enough damage to kill them, and everything around it. It's an amazing combo and makes this weapon fantastic to use. Not only is that stunning fantastic, but I really think the crowd clearing is one of my favorite things about the vacuum tube shotgun. I love the ground pounder and the huskbuster as much as anybody. The pop shot, these are all fantastic shotguns that everybody should love. But when you are looking down a crowd of dozens of enemies and you are able to kill all of them in 1 or 2 shots, it's well worth the 3 energy cells you're firing per bullet. And that's kind of the downside of this weapon. It is a bit expensive to operate and it is limited in nature, but when the stars align, I was recording this during a water only season, it is extremely effective and very, very fun to use. It's like literally, as you can imagine, the vacuum tube bow of the shotgun world. I mean, I know that's extremely obvious, but it really does function on the level of the vacuum tube bow, and I cannot recommend this weapon enough. And that crowd clearing, as amazing as it is, it actually did really well versus the mini boss. Now, I'm not here to deceive you. Obviously, the ground pounder and the huskbuster with a war cry until you're rocking out absolutely delete mini bosses in 2 or 3 or maybe 4 magazines if you get really unlucky. But for a weapon that many don't regard as a top tier S tier shotgun in the game, I felt like this did really well. In fact, I think it even did better than this gameplay shows because you saw that Rock and Rift wasn't even active for most of that duration. So when it kicked in at the end, you could really see its power. You can pick up the vacuum tube shotgun in regular missions all throughout the year, and a lot of people just don't talk about it, but I felt like it did incredible damage, and this was only the crit rating crit damage copy. So I think we saw pretty much all the best highlights of the gameplay that I recorded here. Let's move on to the double crit damage copy, and let me show you just how much stronger this weapon gets. All right, instead of running crit rating crit damage, we are now doing double crit damage, and to activate it consistently, we are going to be using sub wafers from Main Stage Quinn instead of fumble from Varsity Hero. That'll just make it so that we can activate the team perk whenever we need, because we're gonna have a 10% crit chance otherwise, although a teammate is running boom base, so that is going to increase my base crit chance without the team perk active. However, sub wafers should smoothen things out a lot. So right out of the gate, we get the most acrobatic smasher I've ever seen, running straight over the tree and struggling to kill him until we can actually pop a wafer and do some real damage. Now, that was only a 160 smasher. We're going to have plenty of 250s a bully later on, but you can see that chain lightning. Double crit damage and wafers to activate totally rocking out makes quick, easy work of an encampment. Honestly, if they weren't hiding behind trees like cowards, they would have gone down a lot quicker. Here you can see the real power of this weapon. You pop a wafer, go for a smasher, a couple of headshots, and that was almost a 3-burst kill. We barely had to pull out that 4th shot, and honestly, I think common advice for this weapon would be starting on a basic target just to get some chain lightning chip, and then focus on the big guys. But when you focus on a big target, you can stun them very effectively, and versus a smasher, that's really, really important. Here you can see me following my own advice, just shooting target after target and watching that chain lightning just spread to everything down below. This recording is like a montage of big smashers dying. I don't really have commentary for everything that is showcased in this. It is just so freaking strong. If you pop a wafer or have Battle Beat active, I didn't show the trapping in this mission, but it was very similar to last time. I threw down a couple of Sealing Electric Fields just to activate it consistently so that I wasn't always having to eat wafers, and then I drastically overfarmed, getting way more wafers than I could ever need. I did not expect the smashers to go down so easily, so I was very pleasantly impressed. It is endlessly gratifying to be focusing on a single target, taking it down nice and quickly like those takers, and then turning to the crowd and just shooting 1 or 2 basic targets and watching the chain lightning do the rest. Now, the chain lightning does actually do more damage if you have Totally Rockin' Out active. If you're critting, it will hit for more, and it goes so far. You can see I'm just picking out 1 or 2 at a time and then just lazily watching the chain lightning go. The lightning is not as instant as real life lightning, but it sure does the trick. So as this footage was recorded quite a ways before the commentary that you're hearing today, I do actually have an update for you guys. I have been using this weapon regularly. It has made an appearance on my Twitch streams, linked down below, very often. It has become one of my main shotguns. At least during the season that I recorded this, it was water only, so it was being used pretty much every time I felt like running a shotgun build, and it was doing a very good job. It was just as good as it was in today's video. I think I do like the crit rating, crit damage. I think double crit damage shows very well on camera if you're willing to eat all those wafers, but in normal scenarios when you just forget about your wafers or you're feeling lazy, it's nice to just kind of not have to rely on that and have that crit rating perk to help out. But unfortunately, for today's video, our mini boss, maybe fortunately, was fire. So the vacuum tube shotgun wasn't really going to do anything to an enemy that was taking off 75% of my damage. So I swapped to the good old ground pounder and made very quick work of it. This thing is just a monster. The ground pounder and Huskbuster are in a league of their own. Actually, the pop shot really should be in that category. But with the ground pounder's 12 meg size, high fire rate, and reloading instantly with Chaos Agent, it's just unstoppable. I didn't have Chaos Agent in this build, but that would have made things a lot easier. Not like it needed the help. But yeah, the vacuum tube shotgun has been a nice addition to my daily shotgun usage, and I hope that this video convinces you to give it a try. Thank you guys so much for watching. That's pretty much the end of this one. Thank you again to Artemix for funding this video, because I was not planning on covering the vacuum tube shotgun so soon, but I really did want to showcase this weapon at some point, and since he really wanted me to cover it, I figured it was perfect. If you guys like this format, let me know in the comments down below. I do like to do live recording in my 160s very often, because I think it's just fun to have my live reaction in there while I'm playing the game, and generally those videos are pretty good, but I thought a more focused breakdown of my missions would be an interesting approach, and I wanted to give it a try. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Subscribe if you liked it, like the video, and yeah, members get early access to these videos whenever I schedule them. So if you want to join, the link is in the description down below, and there's a join button on my channel. And thank you to everybody who's been a member. Thank you to you guys for subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next one. And then